Molly Cabral from Common Sense Inc. You can find us at www.cslawinfo.us. It's www.cslawinfo.us. And this is information package number 9, PAGS versus lawyers, attorneys, who is representing who. And this is one of my favorites because there's a big misconception going on right now that when you need legal help, you have to immediately spend thousands upon thousands of dollars in order to be able to represent yourself efficiently, which this is just so far from the truth. But before I get into that, first, what is a PAG? A PAG is a private attorney general, which basically means that you, I, or anybody that resides in the country right now can lawfully represent not only themselves, but can represent somebody else as a next friend or somebody that feels they are incompetent to represent themselves. You're able to represent them, and this is held up by the Fifth Amendment. Now, I'm going to read a section from this information package before I even get into what I was going to say about the lawyers and attorneys. So I'm going to read this real quick because what I'm going to read will give you a general overview of what lawyers and attorneys really are, so I really don't have to speak much on it when I'm done. Okay, so this is in the conclusion of the information package, a section of it. And you have to realize that when you hear the term license, it just means a contract. Okay, that's all it is. It's nothing spectacular or fancy. The thing is that most practitioners that have licenses, like your doctor, have them issued by the government, the state government. Okay, the Secretary of State. But you can call up, I don't care what state you're in, you can call up right now to see if I'm wrong. Call up your Secretary of State and ask them if they issue licenses to attorneys or to lawyers. And then you get back to me and let me know what they say. Because your lawyer and your attorney are just certified. They just hold a certificate because they're not legally licensed through the government. So these are private agencies. That's all they are. They have no attachment to the government. And having no attachment to the government, it's like any other business monopoly that could come in and take over. Okay? Because they're not regulated to the same codes or statutes or rules as an actual government official would be. So this is from the information package. It says the state does not accredit the law schools or hold examinations and has no control or jurisdiction over the American Bar Association or its members. The American Bar Association is the big club membership for lawyers and attorneys. This is where they get certified. The ABA accredits all the law schools, holds their private examinations, selects the students they will accept in their organization, and issues them so-called licenses for a fee, but does not issue state licenses to lawyers. The bar is the only authority that can punish or disbar a lawyer, not the state. So you heard that. The bar is the only authority that can punish or disbar. It's not actually the government that's doing it. The ABA also selects the lawyers that they consider qualified for judgeships and various other offices in the state. Under fiction of law, only the Bar Association or their designated committees can remove any of the lawyers from public office. This is a tremendous amount of power for a private union to control. The United States Constitution does not give anyone the right to a lawyer or the right to counsel or the right to any other hearsay substitute. The Sixth Amendment is very specific that the accused only has the right to the assistance of counsel, and this assistance of counsel can be anyone the accused chooses without limitations. And I just want to add in a sidebar here is that when I said Fifth Amendment, I really meant Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment basically says that all of us, okay, residing here in the United States, have the right to the assistance of counsel. That's it. And yes, it sounds very vague, but put two and two together. The assistance of counsel. It doesn't say that you have to hire a lawyer, or attorney. Because if that was true, then people wouldn't be able to represent themselves pro se. And I'm assuming that you understand what pro se means. But for those of you that don't, pro se is just a fancy Latin word for represent represent person or represent yourself. So you wouldn't be able to represent yourself if it was illegal to do so, right? Or unlawful to do so. So assistance of counsel, very vague. That means if I'm competent in the law, that I can assist you. And this ties into my earlier point that back in the day, hundreds of years ago, it wasn't like today where we have information at our fingertips. And it wasn't today where we were all distracted by iPhones, computers, whatever, sports, whatever. People were actually reading, that was their form of entertainment. And people could not afford to hire a lawyer or attorney, so they would represent themselves. Or they would get a family member or friend to assist them. And that's basically what this means, assistant counsel. Because at the end of the day, the American Bar Association is not the government. They are a private entity. Okay? So the term liberty denotes not merely freedom from bodily restraint, but also the right of the individual to contract, to engage in any of the common occupations of life, to acquire useful knowledge, to marry, to establish a home and bring up children, to worship God according to the dictates of his own conscience. The established doctrine is that this liberty may not be interfered with under the guise of protecting public interests by legislative action. The practice of law cannot be licensed by any state. A state cannot exclude a person from the practice of law or from any other occupation in a manner or for reasons that contravene the due process clause. The practice of law is an occupation of common right. Therefore, there can be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of his exercise of constitutional rights. There is a such thing as next friend. Not next of friend or next a friend, just the word next and the word friend, which I speak more in depth about in an earlier information package, where a person can represent another in a courtroom because the defendant or plaintiff is unable to operate in their own best interest. This is recognized by common law, and according to Cornell University Law School, the next friend is not a party to the proceeding, nor are they a formally appointed guardian. Instead, they are considered an agent of the court whose role is to protect the rights of the incompetent person. I will leave you with this case concerning a man who was turned... Okay, so I give another example and then I close out. But let's focus on next friend real quick. Next friend just basically means it could be me, it could be you. We go into a courtroom together and I can stand there lawfully and represent, as my constitutional right, represent you in your case matter. Because I am not a third party in your case. I am an unbiased representative. Now, when it says that you're incompetent, some people might take offense to this. But listen, there's things I'm incompetent in. Okay? Everybody's incompetent in something. So, and if this wasn't true, people wouldn't be hiring lawyers and attorneys left and right. So competence just means you just don't know something. So you don't know the law, so you ask somebody like me to help you. That's it. But you can do that without paying exorbitant amounts of money to somebody that cannot guarantee that you're going to get the outcome you want. And I see it so many times, especially in divorce cases that I've dealt with clients in the past that come to me after they've virtually exhausted all their expenses. One of these conniving lawyers or attorneys. So I recommend that you check out this information package, PAGS, versus lawyers and attorneys, so you can learn more about what we do as private attorney generals, and so you can get a better understanding when the next time you get a subpoena in the mail or a traffic ticket or a criminal matter or just anything in general, you contact us. Another thing that I recommend too and it's free and you can do it anytime, is you can go into any courtroom in the United States and sit in on a trial on any court case, unless it's a closed matter. Sometimes they do that. But the ones that are generally open to the public, I recommend you sit in traffic tickets, criminal matters, civil matters, equity matters. This way you can start learning yourself. Take some time off from American Idol, The Voice, or whatever those shows are. I haven't watched TV in a long time. And start getting that knowledge so you can start saving your money and making money even. Thank you.